But our top focus, the deadlock over the one rank, one pension continues. The veterans have threatened that they will not accept the government formula. Hardening their stand, the veterans have said that they want pension revision once in 2 years. Earlier, the government had reportedly offered pension revision after 3 years. However, the official stand of the government is that pension would be revised after 5 years. The ex-servicemen have said that if the government announces one rank, one pension unilaterally, then it won't be acceptable to them. The veterans have alleged that the Modi government has betrayed them. On the other hand, there are speculations that Prime Minister Modi may call representatives of veterans for talks today.
पहला इक्वलाइजेशन वो 3 साल के बाद करना चाहते हैं और उसके बाद हर 5 साल के बाद उसको इक्वलाइज करना चाहते हैं। मैं पूरे देशवासियों को आपके थ्रू ये बताना चाहता हूं कि उस हालत में सरकार सिर्फ 30 करोड़ रुपया का फर्क है सिर्फ भाइयों।
Managing Editor Rahul Kaval now joins me live from the newsroom. Also joining me on the phone line is Jugal Purohit from Jantar Mantar. Rahul, we have accessed the government's proposals. Just take us through some of the key details from that.
Vedika, the first and the most important thing is that the OROP proposals will be implemented from the 1st of July 2014. So this is coming with a full year of arrears, which is what the veterans had been asking for. The decision will be implemented very soon, according to the government. The government says it's essentially sending the message that within a year of coming to power, within a month of coming to power, OROP was implemented, because OROP will be applicable from the 1st of July 2014. They came into power on the 26th of May 2014. OROP arrears will be disbursed in 4 half-yearly installments. What's important is that the government's proposal says that 2013 will be the base year for calculating OROP pensions. Now, the veterans were demanding that this be 2011. The base date is what determines when somebody retires, and that's how the sooner somebody retires, the higher the base is likely to be. What's the most complex issue right now is that veterans are expecting that OROP will be revised every 2 years. That was their expectation. The government had earlier said 10 years because that's the frequency with which pay commission revisions happen. But now the government has actually climbed quite a distance and turned this to 5 years. So every 5 years there will be a revision in OROP salaries. There's also a committee, a one-man committee, very senior committee that's being set up to resolve any discrepancies that may exist. And this committee is supposed to submit its report within 6 months. The annual expense is likely to be in the range of 8 to 10,000 crore rupees, which will go up as more and more soldiers retire, as the increment sets in over a period of time. The arrears are likely to cost the government between 10 and 12,000 crore rupees. So those are the broad details. The sticking point now, the biggest sticking point, is whether revisions every 5 years will be acceptable to jawans and soldiers and officers, or will they still insist that this is not satisfactory? Any neutral expert, not a vested interest, but any neutral expert we've been speaking to says the government has really climbed down. Several of the expectations and demands of the soldiers have been accepted, and really the government is hoping that now at least the veterans who've been on protest will accept that this is a good deal for them.
With you in a moment from now, Jugal Purohit is also joining me on the phone line. Jugal, how are the ex-servicemen reacting to this government's proposal?
Well, Vedika, they've made their stand more than clear. They have outrightly rejected what the government has offered. The veterans also say that a revision once in 5 years is unacceptable to them. They are also very, very categorical that any committee, any commission, any other body meant to adjudicate and resolve differences in this implementation is again unacceptable, because most of the details, the broad contours are already clear, and like it happened in the case of 6 pay commission, anomalies must be resolved by the system and not create a third body which in their opinion will further delay matters. So as of now, what are the broad contours? We have Rahul Kaval who's shown all of it to us. This exact issue is what I have discussed with the veterans, and their point is very clear that they reject this and they're still waiting for the official word in black and white. They're saying the government has sent 7 mediators but not one paper in black and white to them for them to even comment upon. These are selective leaks, according to the veterans, taking place to just gauge their opinions and further devise a strategy. They are right now extremely distraught. They're saying that the government is coming to them with unclean hands. And as I said, whatever the issues have been reported, they have rejected all of them.
Jugal, do stay with me. I'll be back with you in a moment. But coming back to you, Rahul, who has been bringing us details of the government's formula that has been offered to the ex-servicemen who have been protesting for over 80 days now. Rahul, they have been demanding the revision of this one rank, one pension scheme on a yearly basis or at least a 2-yearly basis. But really, isn't this going to be a logistical nightmare?
You know, and I also want to correct a couple of the points that Jugal made, Vedika. He said that the veterans think this is some selective leak or that this is just a draft proposal. Well, we've heard from very senior sources in the government that this is the final plan. It's a take it or leave it offer that the government is making. This will be announced. Remember, there's a very tight timeline here with Bihar elections likely to be announced in a couple of days from now, maximum in a week from now. So it's not as if the government is now asking the veterans whether or not this is acceptable. This matter has been discussed at the highest levels. The Prime Minister himself has lent his weight, and this is the final suggestion. This is the final offer. This will be announced soon. Now the veterans can continue protesting if they please, but this is the final announcement. You talked about whether it will be a logistical nightmare. This can be argued both ways. Nowadays salaries are all calculated via computers, so the formulas can be adjusted. But the reality is, when you're serving, your salary gets revised. The pay commission sets in only once every 10 years, and in that the government is saying every 5 years we'll re-look at the pensions. That's a reasonable suggestion. So I think the veterans also really need to yield in a way that they're also reasonable, otherwise they'll come across as being very, very unreasonable. So far they've had a lot of emotional support, psychological support, but at the end of the day, the government has climbed down on most things, and that's something that veterans also need to realize.
Do stay with me. I also have Group Captain V.K. Gandhi join me on the phone line. Group Captain, thank you so much for speaking with us. We want to know what the stand of the ex-servicemen now is. If you could clear that for us, because we do have with us the government's final proposal.
See, our stand remains the same. We are fighting for one rank, one pension. That every rank should have, if you have put X number of years of service, one should have the similar pension. Where is the question in that? There are no two formulas in this. There is only one formula, one rank, one question. Same rank, same length of service, same pension. I just don't understand why these different permutation combinations are being put forward by the finance ministry or the bureaucrats or even the ministers. For what reason?
Next, sir. What next then?
What next is we are fighting for one rank, one pension. We will keep fighting for one rank, one pension.
It's been over 80 days that you have been agitating. Do we expect this agitation to continue?
Yes, please, this agitation will continue, because unless one rank, one pension is given in its true spirit, its agitation will continue.
Also, there are speculations over Prime Minister Modi calling for talks with representatives like you from the ex-servicemen who are protesting over this. Have you heard of any such development yet?
We don't know as of now. We have been requesting Prime Minister to give us 10 minutes time, and we'll explain to him the entire chemistry and of the one rank, one pension. And there is no difficult arithmetic in it. It is a very simple calculation, and it is a question of one rank, one pension. It's a question of prestige of the armed forces personnel.
Also, one of the points in the government's formula that they are now proposing is that the revision will take place every 5 years and not on an annual basis or within 2 years.
In that case, it is one rank and 5 pensions. For 5 years, same rank with same number of service will have 5 different pensions. Then it is no different than what is happening today.
So can we then conclude that as far as the ex-servicemen are concerned, they've outrightly rejected this proposal?
Yes, you can say that we have rejected this proposal.
And do you still stand by what you have been saying earlier, that the government is shifting its goalpost?
Say again, please.
Sir, my question to you is, do you still believe that the government is shifting its goalpost?
Yes, government is shifting its goalpost. Definitely.
All right, Group Captain V.K. Gandhi, thank you so much for speaking with India Today. Meanwhile, we were telling you about the government formula on one rank, one pension. What the sources are telling us is that final draft is ready. Let's just cut across to Gaurav Sawant, who brings us more details on that.
Let's quickly take a look at what the government is giving the veterans and what the veterans were demanding. Point number one, the veterans want the implementation of one rank, one pension. They initially said April 2014. They finally accepted July 2014. The government is ready. The government has conceded to the veterans' demand. 2014 is the base year for calculation of one rank, one pension and for implementation. Point number two, the veterans had sought that 2014 should be the base year. The government initially had said 2011, but now they've conceded December 2013, January 2014 would be the base year for calculation of one rank, one pension. Once again, the government has conceded to the veterans' demand. Pension revision should happen every year or at the most every 2 years. This was the demand of the veterans. The government says pension revision will happen once every 5 years, and this is the biggest issue that has the veterans still up in arms, and they say we will not concede to 5 years, otherwise it becomes one rank, five pensions, and therefore the agitation continues.